My name is Mark David Fox. I'm standing in the constituency of Kingston and Surbiton. That's Ed Davies, in the middle of what I call the orange curtain, and I'm standing for Reform UK.
And what are the issues that made you stand up and represent reform?
The economy, basically. We had two things are happening. We're having unchecked immigration into the country, which is bringing down the average wage of everybody, or the average earnings of everybody. That's the first thing. And the other thing is I'm really concerned about having a big bloated government that just ends up taxing people and taking away even more money from their pockets. I mean, the function of government is to create prosperity. That's the first thing. If you have prosperity, you can tax. If you have prosperity, you can spend more into social care systems, all the other systems. But if you have the government taking away the money from the people, as well as having unchecked immigration, what do you think is going to happen? It's quite logical. Where's the growth? They talked about growth, but where's the growth going to come from? I spend my entire life working on growth. That is my job. And it's very hard to make growth happen. The Labour Party sound like it's dead easy. No, it's not. But it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes industry, and it takes dedication. And that's why I'm with Reform.
And you're standing against Ed Davey.
Yes,
Do you want to fill people in who aren't aware of what Ed Davey has been up to?
Well, we don't know what Ed Davey did. That's actually the problem. We don't know. Ed Davey was the responsible for the postal affairs and employment affairs and the consumer affairs in 2010 when he was part of the coalition government. He met with Alan Bates, now Sir Alan Bates, when he took office. So he was complaining about the Horizon IT scandal. And then he also met with the JFSA, that's the group of sub-postmasters and postmistresses, about the number of people being convicted. And also Lord Arbuthnot, who was an MP, a Conservative MP, who kept on coming to him and sending letters saying, look, I've only got 34 people I know have been convicted because of this. And so Ed Davey essentially, we don't know what Ed Davey did. He says he was systematically lied to, but if he was lied to, then he should have asked questions, and we don't even know what questions he asked.
And this is with the post office scandal. So the post office scandal is where people were put in prison because there was just an error on the system, and dozens or more people were imprisoned for fraud, had their businesses destroyed.
739.
739 people, it's that bad?
739. That's more than 1 in 100 sub-postmasters, sub-postmistresses. So at the time when Ed Davey became the head of, and as Undersecretary for Employment Relations, Consumer Affairs and Postal Affairs, so it's not that, more than 1% of the sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses had been convicted of theft or fraud, which is just a ridiculous number. I mean, I wouldn't have even, as I said, I wouldn't have even asked about the Horizon, the computer system. I would have asked the Post Office a straight question. Why are you hiring so many criminals? Why do you have so many people who seem to be convicted of fraud? Are you putting anything in place in order to stop this happening? And are you improving your hiring practices? That would have been my first question. And then if they couldn't have answered that, I would say, well, can we look at the computer system? And by the way, I happen to have worked in that industry in the year 2000 when they introduced the system. By the way, it was the first system Fujitsu had ever operated at that scale. The post office were their guinea pig. And in 2000, when they introduced it, there was one word you would often hear, always hear, about computer systems, especially when that complex. And the word is buggy. Those systems are buggy, buggy, buggy. And he could have just asked an IT guy what they were like in 2000, and he would have told him straight. But we don't know what he did. He says he was lied to, but we've heard nothing. He's got to testify 2 weeks after the election, on the 19th. He's not put any witness statement in. He's not put any documents in showing the questions that he asked. So he said he asked, because if he said he was lied to, he must have asked questions. So why has he said nothing?
And instead he's been running round, going on water slides and having makeovers.
Do you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the relative that comes around for lunch, and the kids like him, and he's funny. But the parents are in the kitchen arguing about something he did or didn't do.
Creepy uncle.
Yeah, well, you say so.
Right, so if people want to find out more and come and help you with your campaign, where can they find out more?
Go to the Reform UK website. You'll find your candidate. It's just not me. There's over 600 of us running. You could search and find all of your candidates. I'm in Kingston and Surbiton. quite easy to find. It's in the London Borough, so just find me there. My name is Mark Fox.
And what's your message to anyone who's thinking of coming out?
Coming out where?
And campaigning.
Oh, do it. Just do it and get yourself a voice. The issue is that, you know, the poll came out that said that half the population were disengaged with the process. That's a terrible indictment on our country. And if people are feeling that so disengaged, then we've got to do something about it, and we've got to do something about it now. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And we don't need to take the elevator, or the lift, I should say, all the way to the basement to go back up. We can hit the button now, stop the elevator, get out, get on the one going back up. That's what we should do.
And your message to Ed Davey?
Tell us what you did. Show us some evidence. Because if you don't, if you don't show us some evidence, you will do on the 19th. Actually, if they find out and you said you were lied to and you can't even prove that, well, I don't know. You may not be the leader of Lib Dems for much longer.
Thank you very much.